Raft. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Raft throws you and your friends into an epic oceanic adventure. Alone or together, players battle to survive a perilous voyage across a vast sea. Gather debris, scavenge reefs, and build your own floating home. But be wary of the man-eating sharks. Yes guys, Raft is quite a fun survival game. Basically you start off on a piece of 4x2 which is just floating in a vast ocean where you can't see diddly squat. It is just you on a piece of wood. But there is debris as there is in real life on the ocean, and you collect that and you craft stuff with that and you make your raft bigger. You have to survive. There is an end game, guys, which I'm not going to tell you because, you know, I don't want to spoil it because I know a few of you will be probably buying this and playing it. It's a fully co-op game and it works a treat in co-op. There's none of this go to your Steam friends nonsense. You just literally press join game. Any friends that are in the game will show up. You just press, click, join, and you will be straight into their game. No mucking around. That's if they have it open to friends. You can just block it so nobody can join your game if you want to play solo. And you can play solo. I've played this solo for a while, but I much prefer the co-op side of things. So, is it any good then? Well, it has its flaws, but it is also a great fun game to play. Your raft can be as big as you want it. It just takes a hell of a lot of supplies to get it big, and you also have to watch, as in all survival games, you got to watch your health, you've got to watch your food, and you've got to watch your water. And this is my first gripe with the game. It's like nearly every other survival game that comes along, they make the same mistake. You have to eat and drink way too often to actually keep alive, and I found that kind of pissing me off because I just didn't really have a lot of time to enjoy the other aspects of the game because I was constantly having to cook things and boil water and eat stuff, and it was ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, if you play it on easier settings, there's 3 game difficulties. It is easier, but I don't want to play it on easy, you know, and it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't have to eat 64 fucking fish before you go to bed at night or you wake up virtually dead. It's, you know, it's bollocks. That needs fixing. Bloody hell, man. You shouldn't need to have that much food just to survive one day on a bloody raft. But there are plenty of ways to get food. You can build craft a fishing rod and you can fish, and you get all kinds of fish when you fish. But here's another problem. When you dive in the water, you never see fish, which is kind of odd, really. There are also islands that you can navigate to, but in order to get onto the islands, you have to build up on your raft. Maybe an extension, a second floor, so that you can leap onto the islands, because the islands are very high. But if you can get onto the island and get an axe, you can chop down mango trees, get lots of wood. There are so many different materials to collect in this game, and you're going to need all of them to actually craft some of the better things. It's like all survival games. The early stuff you craft shite, it breaks easy, but as you get further into the game and get more machines researched, there's a whole research tree in this that you get after you build a researching table, and you can build forges. You can get iron and copper, which is kind of below underground underneath the islands, so you kind of dive in next to the side of an island and dive deep down. You've got to watch your oxygen levels, and you've also got to watch for the only thing that's a predator in this game, and that is a great white shark. Now that's another problem with the game. The only thing in the water is a shark, and you can kill the shark. You can craft a spear and you can eventually kill the shark, because what the shark does is this: he will come after your boat about every few minutes, and he'll start chomping at a corner or a piece of the side of your boat, and if you don't start spearing his face with your spear, he will take that whole chunk of your boat off, and so your boat is getting smaller. Then he'll pee off, then he'll come back and he'll start chomping at another part of your boat. If you fall in the water, he'll come for you and he'll chomp a bit of your ass off. And you know, 2 or 3 attacks off a shark will be fatal. And if you're playing on the harder difficulty levels, that's it, you lose everything. And it's a shame, because there should be more terrifying things in there. There should be more different types of things. Also as well, when you kill the shark, you get some great stuff off the shark, by the way. You get some shark meat, which really fills you up. But once you've killed the shark, another one kind of spawns pretty much straight away. And what I would have liked to have seen is a bit of respite, maybe a 5-minute grace period where nothing will attack you after you've killed the shark. You know, that would have been nice, but it's just kind of, you know, instant. It is early access, this game, So you know that things are going to change. More content is going to be added, and it does need more content. The game kind of stalls after you've built a pretty big raft and you've got the upgrades on your anchors, you've got a second story, you've got your beds, you've got more cookers than you can handle, barbecues, you've got water purifying systems, you've got a forge, you're smelting iron, you're putting armor plating on your ship, you've got metal axes, you've got metal spears, you've got metal pickers. These pickers are great, you just kind of throw them in on a hook and you bring in all the actual bits and bobs that are floating around. It's essential at the beginning of the game that you use that, but further on into the game you get what's called a catcher that you can craft, and these are automatic catchers that you just line up down the whole one side, or like an L shape. It's probably preferable, so you can go sideways and forwards and still gather things, and any material that's caught in them just gets trapped in it and you just pick it up. So it's really good. The game is fun, don't get me wrong. It is flawed in a few ways, not so much flawed, but it does need improvement in a few areas, like more marine life, more danger, maybe less spawning sharks, different types maybe of sharks. Maybe he's a big octopus, maybe he's, you know, piranha fish, whatever. I know piranha fish don't usually go in the sea, but I'm sure there's plenty of other things in the sea that can kill you. Go to Australia and steal a few ideas, everything over there kills you. So, you know, you could have a bit of that in the game as well. You can't build on islands as well. It would have been nice to be able to build on island. It would have been nice to have like a skiv. Is it a skiv? I don't know what it's called, where you have a little boat on your boat that you can use to go places, because there's rafts and that'll come floating by, you know, that you can go and loot. I mean, you do build a sail in that, and you can have a paddle to kind of steer your raft around, but there could be a lot more to this game, and because it's early access, I'm going to kind of cut the developer some slack here, because these things may be added. These things may well be added. But it's great in co-op. It's a fun game. There's no doubt about it. It's $14.99. It's worth buying if you like this kind of survival game. It's fun to build up your raft and see it go from a little piece of 4x2 right up to a huge ship, essentially, with multiple decks. And there's plenty of stuff to craft, but once you've kind of got to the end game, the game does become a little bit monotonous, because, you know, that's it. But I'm sure more content is coming. But it's a good game, and it is definitely worth a buy, and it looks gorgeous as well.